Welcome to Retiring Well. The Northern Michigan team here has mapped out a great show for you this week. We got 4 great topics that cover a wide array of things to talk through today. First, we're going to be diving into the 2024 retirement landscape. As we're starting off the year here, what does that look like for you? What are some of the things you need to be aware of, and how can you best prepare to make 2024 your year? Then, Nick's going to talk about Medicare out-of-pocket expenses. If you're nearing that magic 65 age or already in it, what are some of those things you need to be aware of depending upon the plans you're in? And there could be some things you could avoid. Then I'm going to talk about the average Social Security by age. What are some of the things to consider when you're selecting when you want to take Social Security? And to wrap up the show, John's going to be talking about don't pay too much when it comes to your taxes. None of us want to pay more than our fair share when it comes to income taxes. We want to be looking at some of those options and look at reducing that not only today, but further off down the road. All this and so much more coming up right now here on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Hey, welcome to the segment on retirement landscape in 2024. Often we will have clients come into our office and they will set down all of their stuff and they'll say, hey, can we retire? And what we look for is, how nervous are they? And, if we look over the last couple of years, you look at your 2022 inflation, the highest since 1981. You look at interest rates that have hiked, the highest in 22 years. You look at all these different political things going on, and there's what's going to happen with Social Security. And you get these people that are very nervous about trying to retire in 2024. So what it reminds me of is actually when I was 19 years old and I was getting my pilot's license, and I had an incredible instructor. Her name was Barb Fleming, and it was a beautiful day. We were going out for a flight to learn some new things, and we were flying, and she says, hey Jack, I need you to put on this blindfold. And I was like, what? So I put on the blindfold, and she takes over the airplane and she does all of these different maneuvers with power on, power off, attitude adjustments. And she says, okay, I want you to get to level flight. And so there I am flying blind, and I'm trying to get to level flight. And finally she says, okay, take your blindfold off. So I take my blindfold off and I look, and I'm in an angled nosedive. What I felt was level flight wasn't even close. And I said to her, what do I do to get to level flight? What's the fastest way? And she said, I want you to look way out in that perspective, way out to the horizon. And I want you to get that level in your windshield. And so I immediately started to take power back and make the appropriate maneuvers to look way far away. I got that level in the windshield, and we were in safe level flight. What did I learn from that? You might be in an immediate situation that needs a long-term perspective to fix. You might need a co-pilot, a coach in your corner to come help you navigate all of these incredibly difficult, unknown things that you're not used to and you're not ready for. It's brand new to you. And so as we get into some of the landscape, let's talk through, how you might be able to get to that level flight and get to the destination that you want. What are some factors shaping the 2024 landscape? 2 big concerns that we have right now. We have inflation, and we have people that are living a really long time in their retirement. So, we have to plan for a long retirement, a lot of increased expenses, and we have to map that out to make sure that it fits into what you're trying to accomplish. We've got to get that long-term perspective, and then we can back all the way up into what your immediate situation is right now. What are some of the living standards that are going on? Well, with inflation being as high as it has been over the past few years, that's starting to get into control. But there's just certain things that likely are not going to go down in cost. You look at food, you look at healthcare, medications, fuel. Those are just things probably aren't going to go down in expenses. And so taking some time to really get a a good budget in place. Okay, you know, it's a new year, it's a new time to just say, what is our actual monthly expense? What are our actual monthly income sources? Let's compare those two, and then let's put some inflation on that, so that as we increasingly have to spend more and more every year, that we have enough funds and we have the income plan that's going to support that kind of lifestyle. The next thing is managing your risk. You know, right now, if you look at what 2022 was the worst bond market ever, and it was the 7th worst stock market ever. And we have political landscapes that are changing and unknown. And so when we're addressing risk, I think it's really important to be aware of what opportunities are out there. You know, there's some great opportunities in fixed annuities right now, fixed indexed annuities that link the growth to the stock market but don't have the downside. Incredible opportunities. Even now in the bond market, I think there's some really good opportunities. And so if you're sitting there wondering if your risk is aligned with what you need or want, you know, you are absolutely always able to give us a call or find that trusted co-pilot, you know, that coach in your corner, that financial advisor that can help you look at that long-term perspective. And then, you know, Social Security, what's going to happen? Right now, they're saying 2034, you know, that there's going to have to be some changes. You know, Congress is aware of this. It's on their radar, and they're going to try to, you know, fix that. What's the final trend that's happening? Personalization. That's the trend in 2024. If you don't have a personalized, holistic plan, then you are missing out. That's what everything is gearing towards. So if you ever want to sit down with any of us here at Centennial and get that personalized, holistic plan that we can help educate you, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks for watching.
Make the most of Social Security. Although Social Security isn't designed to cover all of your income needs, it's an important part of the retirement puzzle. Download our free booklet on the Social Security decisions at cen-wealth.com and learn how to optimize Social Security for your situation, why timing is so important when it comes to your benefits, ways to supplement your Social Security, and more. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down, and click the download link to get your free booklet on the Social Security decisions.
Taxes follow you even into retirement. When you start taking income from your qualified retirement accounts, taxes are owed at your ordinary tax rates. Our holistic retirement planning approach includes tax planning and implementing tax reduction strategies. Centennial Wealth Advisory can help. Call the number on your screen or visit our website and request your complimentary initial consultation.
As you are planning for retirement, where's your journey taking you? Do you know where you are going? How are you going to get there? And what's the best route to take? Do you have a personal retirement roadmap? At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, and we have designed a complimentary retirement roadmap video series that can be customized based on your personal circumstance and preferences. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com/roadmap and provide us with some basic information that will guide you to your on-demand, customized retirement roadmap video. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
A very common misconception that I come across very frequently when meeting with people involves Medicare. Oftentimes I'm talking with people and they're like, yeah, I've been paying into Medicare my whole working life, right? That's that Medicare tax out of your paycheck. And they believe that once they hit that magical age of 65, they don't have to worry about health insurance anymore or the costs associated with it because Medicare doesn't cost a dime. Well, that can be further from the truth, okay? There are costs with original Medicare. So today I want to cover those out-of-pocket Medicare costs, just kind of focusing on original Medicare. So parts A and B. So first, with part A, we call that your hospital insurance. There's a few different out-of-pocket costs associated with your hospital insurance. The first one, although there's no monthly premium typically for part A, there is a deductible. So that deductible is for 2024, $1,632. Now, the caveat to that is it's not for the year like your most traditional health plans are. It's per benefit period, and that benefit period is every 60 days. So you can see there that could add up pretty quick, right? So just kind of diving into those benefit period details a little bit more. So essentially how it works is, let's say that you go into the hospital, okay? Part A is going to pick that up, and you're going to pay the first $1,632. And then if you remain in the hospital for a couple days, and then you get out of the hospital and you're doing good and everything's going well, and then a couple months go by, or more than 60 days, and you end up back in the hospital, well, guess what? That's going to restart that benefit period, and you're going to have to pay a deductible again. So that same $1,632. So again, it can add up, right? Also, another kind of added expense, if you will, is that if you spend an extended period of time in the hospital, let's say you go into the hospital and heaven forbid you're in there for more than 60 days, well, after day 60, you're going to be paying a daily rate. So that daily rate from day 61 to 90 is $408 per day. And then after day 90, you just double it, and it's $816 per day until you hit your lifetime maximum. So it can really get expensive. And those are really the main costs associated with your Part A or hospital insurance on Original Medicare. Now if we go over to Part B, we call this your doctor's insurance. So you go get an MRI or an X-ray or something like that, outpatient surgery. Part B, or your doctor's insurance, is going to pick that up. Now, there is usually a monthly premium for this. So the Part B premium for 2024 is $174.70. Usually there's not a way to get around that, although sometimes there are Advantage plans that can kind of help reduce that Part B premium. And then another added cost is going to be the Part B deductible. So this one is for a year, and it's just $240. So you'll pay the first $240 for those doctor's visits and so forth. And then there's also co-insurance with Part B. It's an 80-20 split, meaning that Medicare is going to cover 80% of those doctor's visits, and you'll be on the hook for the other 20% there. So, you know, hearing all of this, all the different costs, you can obviously see that, you know, things can really add up. I mean, you know for a fact you're going to be paying at least $174.70 just for Original Medicare. And if you're healthy, maybe you're not using the other services and so forth, but there's still that cost. And then heaven forbid anything happens to you on the hospital side, doctor side, there's some substantial costs that you could incur. So a lot of people, they don't just stick with Original Medicare. Okay, they add something else, whether it's an Advantage plan or a supplement plan. And here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, not only do we talk about investment planning, tax planning, income planning, and so forth, but we also know about health insurance. So I'd love to schedule a free, no obligation consultation, go over your retirement portfolio, but also talk about the other impacts that could affect your retirement, to include Medicare and health insurance.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
In today's day and age, with a longer lifespan, you're more likely to encounter both good and bad market performance. For that reason, when planning for retirement, it's increasingly important to seek guidance from a financial advisor who can help you structure an income strategy that reflects your financial situation, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. You don't want just any advice, but objective, financial advice. With so much at stake, it's important that you feel you can trust a financial advisor to consider a wide variety of possible solutions, including both investment and insurance products. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we're not beholden to any certain investment tools or vehicles. We're independent. We can offer a wide variety of investment tools that meet your needs. So please, if you have any questions or you want to schedule an initial consultation, don't hesitate to give us a call at the number on the screen. We're happy to help in any way that we can.
Let's talk a little bit about average Social Security by age. So as I'm sure you're well aware, depending upon when you take your Social Security is going to have an impact on the dollar amount or monthly benefit you're going to collect, right? So the earlier you take it, it's going to be discounted. So like taking it early at 62, 63, somewhere in those terms, it's going to have a discounted amount, right? Then waiting to like your full retirement age, which just depends on birth year of what that's going to look like, will be a certain amount. And then if you delay it all the way up until age 70, it could be a greater benefit, right? So looking at all these factors. So obviously the $1 million question, literally in some cases, is when do you want to take this? So some considerations to think about when you're taking this is, obviously, we don't all know how long we're going to live. We don't know when we're going to be here. Tomorrow's never promised, as they say, for any of us. So obviously, if you're somebody maybe that has medical conditions or is expected to live a shorter than average life, you may want to consider collecting sooner than later, right? Because time may not be on your side. Maybe you're somebody that has a long lineage of folks that live really long in your family, and you're really healthy and you expect to live at least an average or longer than average life. Well, maybe you have some more options to consider because you may be able to collect longer. For many folks out there, depending upon the dollar amount you're getting and obviously how long you take it, this could be $1 million benefit when you look at cumulative assets, collecting it over your lifetime. That's a significant amount of money when you think of that. It's been a while since we've talked about it on the show, but the old three-legged stool, maybe you remember that if you've been watching the show for a few years, where when you look at retirement income, you want to have this balanced stool with three legs. One leg being Social Security, the other hopefully some sort of like pension or guaranteed income, and then the other part that is made up of your investments typically. Well, goodness, if you have a leg there with Social Security that could produce an accumulated asset of about $1 million over your lifetime, that's substantial, right? So when we look at some of these other considerations just beyond age, one of them could be, obviously, are you married or not? So what is your spouse's benefit? That's going to play a role. If you guys have an age difference, who expects to live longer? What benefit, is one benefit larger than the other for a specific spouse? All of those sort of things. Tax planning. You hear us talk about all the time with various taxes and stuff like that. Well, collecting Social Security is going to play a role in that, right? It's income. So depending upon what your income levels are will determine the tax that's going to be charged on that. So you want to have some income tax planning done with that. So especially when you get later in life, think of required minimum distributions at 72, 73, or 75, depending upon your age. When those start, how that may affect taxation when you have Social Security and those kicking on. Think of some of you that may be a little bit higher income earners in retirement and you have to worry about the Medicare Part B IRMA penalty or adjustment. Does Social Security play a role into that? So it isn't just, well, I feel like taking it. There's a lot of other questions that coincide with that you have to consider when you start looking at how to take Social Security. So remember, kind of up on the screen here, there's a table here that we're showing, and this is basically Social Security by age and kind of the average amounts that is collected based on age. So again, not surprising that if you delay, you'll see those benefits going up a little bit there. But then again, just looking looking at all these different things. Now, obviously, your personal earning records is going to have a play into this and all that sort of stuff. Really, there's a long combination of how they get to those benefits. I'm not going to dive deep into that here. We have other segments, and you can go to our YouTube channel if you want to learn more about the calculation of Social Security and all of that. But it's really your 35 best years and a formula based upon that. So again, with full retirement age, it's going to be dependent on your birth year of what that's going to look like. If you were born somewhere between 43 and 54, that full retirement age is going to be 66 years old for you. If you're born from 55 to 59, that's going to gradually go from 66 on up to 67 during those years, obviously the later ones getting close to 67. And then 1960 and later, it's at 67 right now for those folks. So looking at what that benefit is. So hopefully that is helpful. We know that Social Security is a huge part of your retirement plan likely, and it's very important that don't just blindly go in and take it just because. Sit down and look at all these options available for you so you can plan to retire well.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
You can have a portfolio or you can have a plan. You can play it safely or you can safely plan. You can guess when to take Social Security or you can make your decision based on detailed analysis. You can hope your savings will last your entire retirement, or you can take action and know. You can let life happen to you, or you can take control. You can go it alone, or you can have an experienced guide ready to walk with you every step of the way. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial planners serving all of Northern Michigan, offices in Gaylord, Petoskey, Traverse City, and Cadillac. Simply call the number on your screen for a complimentary initial consultation and let us help you plan to retire well.
Make the most of Social Security. Although Social Security isn't designed to cover all of your income needs, it's an important part of the retirement puzzle. Download our free booklet on the Social Security decisions at cen-wealth.com and learn how to optimize Social Security for your situation. Why timing is so important when it comes to your benefits, ways to supplement your Social Security, and more. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com, scroll down, and click the download link to get your free booklet on the Social Security decisions.
Let's talk about some mid-year tax planning. I think we can all agree that nobody wants to pay more in taxes than they really should be. That's going to go for individuals and businesses alike. And so a lot of times people are focusing their attention on how to reduce those taxes. And looking at taxes midway through the year can be a vital thing, especially if there's been some life changes, maybe financial events or different things that have occurred overall in your income or different investments that would cause a reason to say, wait, I should double check what's going on for taxes. So the first thing, let's begin with your goals. It's important to not only be looking at maybe your short-term goals, mid-term goals, and then as well as long-term goals. A lot of times this is where we would bring up how there's maybe a difference between, say, a tax preparer versus a tax planner. Tax preparer is always going to be looking at, hey, how can I keep your taxes to a minimum in this year, which is important. You want to keep taxes as low as possible, but what decision are you making today that could maybe have an impact 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road? So that's where, traditional IRA versus Roth IRA, Roth conversions, tax bracket optimization, things like that should be discussed as you're building a long-term plan. Along with that is then, meet and discuss with whoever you are working with as far as tax planning. We've learned over time that some people in the financial advisor community aren't allowed to talk about taxes. We feel that at Centennial Wealth Advisory, it's a vital piece of your overall plan and goes hand in hand with a number of areas that you want to be considering. Some of the things that you'd want to be thinking about is life events such as, say, let's assume you sold a rental property. Well, there's going to be some capital gains issues you want to be thinking about. What if you're getting married? Okay, that's going to change your tax bracket. Or what if, unfortunately, you lost a spouse? Now that's going to change going ahead into the next year. So there might be some things to consider there, maybe even selling a business. Third is going to be assess and estimate. You want to consider all your different sources of income, maybe any changes that you had from the previous year, and you may want to adjust some of those estimated payments that you're doing, or maybe it's changing up the withholding on your paycheck. If you're a small business owner, you want to be reassessing that taxation on a regular basis. Number 4, consider RMDs, or required minimum distribution. So the Secure Act 2.0 changed that required minimum distribution age to age 73. So you're going to want to be looking at, with IRAs and 401ks and the like, how much you're going to be required to withdraw. That could all of a sudden push you into a higher tax bracket. So what are some things that you should be considering today versus just continuing to kick the can down the road? Along with that additional income could then bump up your Social Security taxation and could be as high as then 85% of your Social Security becomes taxable. Another area here that you may or may not have heard of are qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs. So after age 70 and a half, you technically can distribute money from your IRA and have it go directly to a church or charity, and would then be a straight non-taxable event if done properly. So that's something to consider. Minimize and maximize. So consider the timing of certain expenses or income. So example may be, you want to buy that condo in Florida. Well, I want to pay cash for that, but all your money's in IRA. Well, that's going to create a sizable taxable event. So it may be something you want to take money out over time to pay for that. Or maybe you're selling a rental or investment property. Again, you want to plan ahead, not just take action and not consider the consequences. The big thing, lastly, I'll say, is stay organized. You want to review previous year's tax returns, learn from that, improve. Are you doing different planning, preparation to look ahead for the long term? So here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we offer our clients the ability to have both tax preparation and tax planning as part of the overall retirement plan. So if that's something that you haven't thought through yet or looked at that long-term tax plan, we encourage you to give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory and help you plan to retire well.